LS Lowry, an iconic champion of localism. Welcome to Mark and Pete. Here's a thought.
Match of the Matchstick Men. A pitch for LS Lowry. Bristly brushstrokes scrape and scratch, depicting fans going to the match. Bowback figures step in line, cloth caps worn to their sporting shrine. Crowds heaving and rapidly weaving, anticipating glory and still believing. An industrial horizon smears grim grey smoke, looming and fuming over scurrying folk. Starkly lit streets paint where locals were born, and as for the match, well, that was probably drawn. Yes, LS Lowry has actually, in my opinion, probably one of the greatest British painters of all time. Now, what's interesting, as many have seen in the news recently, that Going to the Match, the painting by LS Lowry, was sold for a staggering £7.8 million at an auction recently. Well, not only is it depicting the bustling throng of football fans, it definitely, in my opinion, captures the whims of northern life. Clergyman Pete, I ask you, what do you think of L.S. Lowry's work, and what do you think about the way he captures localism?
Well, I've got the picture, Business and Mark, that you're referring to right in front of me, or not the original, I'm sad
Oh,
to
it
say.
wasn't you that bought it then?
Uh, wasn't me, that not this time, at least not that I'm admitting to. This is his painting done in 1953 of crowds outside Burnden Park, and I've got the picture in front of me. Now, I live up north, as you know, the north of
Yes.
England, near Liverpool. And although, I'm keen to stress that different communities up north have a different aesthetic, they look different to each other, except, well, not really, not so much in that I recognise from this painting the northern landscape. I could see that it's cold, the sky is grey, it's windy, everyone's wrapped up warm, and they're all going to football. So I
Yes.
think all that is contained in this. The incredible thing about the picture, if we can encourage people to have a look themselves, you can find it online. It's LS Lowry's Going to the Match, and you see everyone there in the crowd walking towards the stadium. You can see people inside the stadium, but everyone's sort of tilted forwards because they're so keen to be there, including three dogs that we can see
Yes.
are making their way towards it. Not a brilliant painting, not brilliantly drawn, but there's a feeling to it. You can feel the place. You can feel the time, the event. I could imagine myself being there, looking on as the person who drew the picture is, and thinking, it's really cold. I'm going to go home and have a cup of tea. But still, I can feel the event. So what I see is evoking the local event. He's a the way that he's a champion of localism is that Alice Lowry could conjure up what it felt like to be in that locality, can just do an image that conjures up part of the culture of that area
Yes.
and present it to you as a picture. So that's a real genius.
Yes, it is, and not easy to do. Now, L.S. Lowry. Yes, he was born Lawrence Stephen Lowry on the 1st of November 1887. And he died in 1976. But Lowry is famous for painting scenes of life in the industrial districts of the northwest England. And this is mainly in the mid 20th century when he really came to fame. And he developed a very distinctive style of painting, and is best known for his urban landscapes with, as Clergyman Pete, sort of haunched figures, human figures,
Mm.
often referred to as matchstick men, partly because they were sort of thin-like figures bustling along, and certainly you got a sense of drama about his pictures. Not necessarily that, let's put it this way, not realistic in the sense that it wasn't photographic, but what it did is it evoked this sort of brooding portraits and very much the feeling of life of the day. Now, I think that what's interesting is that many people have sort of said this is a lot of money, but actually, in my opinion, I actually think it's worth a lot more. And the reason I think about this is that it goes beyond just simply a painting. What it does, it actually sort of reflects how an individual who dedicated his life to reflecting the community, the people who he grew up with, where he lived. He was very much a sort of a humble individual. Noted also, and this is the key as well, he really wanted to be a man of the people, and he turned down many sort of recognitions from royalty. You know, he turned down many honors, feeling that that wasn't something that he believed in. And I do think that it's interesting that this figure that we're talking about, although he has painted this particular iconic picture, there are many others as well. It's worth looking at. He's also done portraits as well, to note, some of which are very whimsical. So there's an element of humour to it. So whilst we've been talking about grim grey skies, which certainly does depict some of the life that he portrayed during his paintings, but there's also a sense of whimsy and a sense of humour. And I think that what's good about it is he captures a Britishness that often I think has sort of maybe got lost. And I do like the fact that he was very much for the localism. So Clergyman Pete, I ask you, when you sort of think about artists, so Lowry one artist, but of course artists come in many different forms. You have singers, you have dancers, you have actors, you have writers, and many other things. I like the idea of the fact that they specialize in reflecting how a community really operates, and you really get that sense when you study their work. Just really want to get a sense of you in the community and what you think about localism.
Well, yes, I think that this idea of art, I guess you'd include with that in that entertainment as well, coming from a community, reflecting their own community. In fact, the great artists can't help but do it. You know, they show where they come from. And of course, for many artists, they don't become great international celebrities. They stay where they are, and so they
Yes.
contribute to the life. And one of the great things that, for example, let me give you one example that a church can do is instead of just having a boring notice board, you employ a local artist to create an image or a notice board or even a logo for your church and have that at the front of the church.
Yes.
Having people create art based on their local experience gives character, gives then pride to the people in that locality, and in bringing up the pride in a good way, pride of your locality, of your community. You help people to live better lives because if you're proud of the area and if you've contributed towards it, or a local artist has, and you see them reflecting your community, your culture, you become proud of it, then you're able to strive harder. You look after your surroundings. It becomes a better place to live. And so,
Yes.
I just give you an example of some international artists. The Beatles, and the people
Yes.
who made up the band, the Beatles, lived, around where I am now on the Wirral and over in Liverpool. And one day, where I lived in Liverpool for a few months, I walked down the road through Penny Lane Market, which is referred to in a song
Oh,
by the
yes.
Beatles. And just in that moment, you felt the flavour of the area you were in that song, and vice versa. So it's one of those things that we seem to have lost it a little bit, have lost it over time
Yes.
because of the big companies that seem to run art and
Yeah.
the arts rather and music. But I think it's been brought back by YouTube channels about different artists and artists creating their own work online, selling it online in books, etc. It's coming back. So I think we can encourage people here to do it, but I think it's been done, and this is one of the good things about the internet, that people are able to
Yes.
distribute their work, and it can be as local as you like because you can just point the camera at whatever you're doing. So
Yes.
yep, I encourage everyone to get involved in the local culture, singing, painting pictures, creating what could you make, statues, art, even, dare I say it, playing games like football is a form of art, which
Yes.
gives you your. I say that, gentle listener, because I don't like football, but it's something that reflects your locality and something you can be proud of.
Yes. Well, here's a thought. It's actually from LS Lowry himself. He was interviewed a few times, but one of the things that I quite liked is his whimsical comments. There are 3 statements, so I'm going to read out, which I just thought was quite nice. This was about his own art. It says, this is of himself as he was speaking. You don't need brains to be a painter, just feelings. I am not an artist. I am a man who paints. And then he goes on, if people call me a Sunday painter, I'm a Sunday painter who paints every day of the week. Yes. So we encourage localism, folks. Be interesting to see whether they are seeing an emerging artist, and let us know what they think.
Yes, let us know. That's it. That's it from us at Mark and Pete for this week. Remember to subscribe, and as Mark says, remember to leave a comment below. See you next time.